Your golf handicap reveals more about your personality than your browser history. I'm serious. That number on your GIN card, it's not just tracking your game. It's a full psychological profile wrapped in a scorecard. See, most golfers think their handicap measures skill. Wrong. It measures who you are, your confidence, your competitiveness, how you handle failure when you chunk a wedge from 80 yards. From the sandbaggers hustling member guest tournaments to the single-digit purists who spend $2,000 on putter fittings, today we're decoding what your number really says about you. And trust me, you're going to recognize yourself, or your buddy, or that guy in your Saturday foursome who swears he's just off a bit. Let's start where every golf journey begins, the players who still think they're one lesson away from greatness. Here's the thing about handicaps. Every golfer knows their number, but almost nobody realizes how much it reveals about who they are, not just how they play. Your handicap tracks consistency, sure, but it also exposes your ego, your insecurities, whether you're a control freak or a chaos enthusiast. I've played with hundreds of golfers, scratch players, 30 handicap warriors, weekend hackers, retired guys who play barefoot. And trust me, their swings aren't the only thing revealing. Your number tells a story about your relationship with pressure, with failure, with that voice in your head that says, you got this, or you're cooked. So grab your scorecard, check your ego at the door, because it's time to find out what your handicap really says about you. The perfectionist in a polo. Scratch golfers are obsessed. They know their yardages down to the half yard. They've tested 7 different grips. They track their stats like they're preparing for the Masters. They see golf as a craft. Every shot is a test of control. Every round is a performance review. And they're quietly competitive, even when they pretend not to be. Here's the thing most people don't get about scratch golfers. They're not naturally gifted. They're control freaks who channel anxiety into precision. They don't play golf to relax. They play golf to win. Against the course, against themselves, against that one buddy who shot 71 last month. They practice their pre-shot routine in the mirror, and they watch their swing on video more than they watch Netflix. And if you beat them, they'll congratulate you. Then go hit 200 balls on the range. That's a scratch golfer. Obsessive, disciplined, terrified of losing their edge. The almost there addict. Single-digit handicappers believe they're one swing change away from the PGA Tour. They have a complicated love-hate relationship with YouTube tutorials and their coach. And that one tip their buddy gave them on the 14th tee. They take golf trips way too seriously. Scores matter more than fun. They're tracking every stat. Fairways hit, greens in regulation, putts per round. I know a 7 handicap who buys swing aids like Pokemon cards. One for every missed fairway. He's got alignment sticks, training grips, a weighted club, a launch monitor, a putting mirror. His garage looks like a golf galaxy exploded. Here's what people don't understand about single-digit golfers. Everyone assumes they're confident. They're not. They're insecure perfectionists terrified of losing their edge. They'll shoot 76 and be pissed about the 3 putts on 12. They'll birdie 4 holes and only remember the double on 7. They're chasing something. Always. That elusive round where everything clicks. Where they finally break through. And they're so close. That's what kills them. They can taste it. They've shot 72 before. They know they can do it again. But golf doesn't care. And that's the torture. The I swear I used to be better guy. Mid-handicappers love reminiscing about that one time they shot 78. 8 years ago. They think their swing is just off a bit. They play for pride. But mostly they play for the beers after the round. I have a buddy who's a 12. He swears he'd be scratch if he practiced more. But he spends 20 minutes organizing tees before each round. He's got a system. By color, by length, by vibe. He's never practiced in his life. Here's the truth about mid-handicappers. People think they're casuals. They're not. They're nostalgic competitors living in their own highlight reel. They remember every good shot they've ever hit. That 3-wood on 18 that landed 10 feet from the pin. That chip in from the fringe. That drive that carried 280. They forget the shanks, the tops, the 4 putts. They'll tell you about the round where they were even through 12. They won't mention they finished triple-double bogey. And they genuinely believe they're better than their handicap. Because in their mind, they are. They just haven't proven it yet. That's the mid-handicapper. Equal parts delusion and hope. The weekend warrior with just enough game. These guys relish the few good shots per round, and those shots, they're enough to justify the addiction. They know their miss. They accept their miss. They call it strategic course management. They're the heart of every Saturday foursome, equal parts comic relief and chaos. Here's what people get wrong about weekend warriors. They assume these guys don't care. They do. Deeply. They just mask it behind humor and Bud Lights. They'll laugh off a triple bogey, then spend the next 3 holes thinking about it. They'll joke about their slice, then secretly try a new grip on the range. They care. They just know that caring too much ruins the fun, and the fun is why they're out here. They're not trying to go pro. They're not trying to impress anyone. They just want to hit a few good shots, drink a few beers, and forget about work for 4 hours. And honestly, that's the healthiest relationship with golf I've ever seen. The optimist with selective memory. High handicap golfers can recall every good shot they've ever hit, and none of the bad ones. They live on hope and Golf Channel reruns. Their favorite phrase? I'm due for a good round. But here's the thing. You might think high handicap golfers are frustrated. They're not. Optimism is their true handicap. It's what keeps them coming back. They genuinely believe the next round will be different, that the swing tip they saw on Instagram will finally click, that the new driver will add 20 yards. They forget they shot 98 last week. They only remember the birdie on 7. They'll tell you about the time they almost broke 90. They won't mention it was 9 years ago. On a par 68 course, with 3 mulligans. And you know what? Good for them. Because golf is hard. And if you can't find joy in the small wins, you'll quit. These guys have cracked the code. They've figured out how to love golf without being good at it. That's a superpower. The chaos enthusiast. These players treat golf like Topgolf. Volume over accuracy. The soundtrack of their round? Laughter, expletives, broken tees. They're constantly working on something new, even if it's switching grips mid-round. Here's what people assume about 25-plus handicappers. They don't care. Wrong. They're the purest golfers. They play for joy, not judgment. They're not worried about their score. They're not tracking stats. They're not comparing themselves to anyone. They just want to be outside, with their buddies, hitting a little white ball around a beautiful course. And honestly, that's what golf was meant to be. They don't get mad when they hit it in the water. They laugh. They grab another ball. They keep going. They're not chasing perfection. They're chasing fun. And in a game that makes most people miserable, that's the ultimate flex. The office assassin. Sandbaggers keep an official handicap at 15, but shoot 78 when money's on the line. They talk about just finding something right before the match starts. They have Venmo notifications disabled. I know a guy who loses every practice round, then wins the member guest net division by 9 strokes. He bought a new putter with the winnings, had the audacity to say, beginner's luck. Here's the truth about sandbaggers. People think they cheat to win. They don't. They cheat to feel like underdogs. It's psychological camouflage. They want the satisfaction of coming from behind, of proving people wrong, of being underestimated. It's not about the money. It's about the story. They want to be the guy who got hot at the right time, the guy who finally put it together, the guy who shocked everyone. Never mind that they've been shooting in the 70s for years. And the worst part? They're good at it. They know exactly how to manage their handicap. They post the bad rounds. They forget to post the good ones. They're not just good golfers. They're good strategists. Morally questionable? Absolutely. Effective? Undeniably. The ego with a rangefinder. Vanity cappers inflate their ego and deflate their handicap. They refuse to post bad scores because the greens were slow. They want to be introduced as a 5, even if it's been 5 years since they shot 75. Here's what people don't get. You'd think low handicappers are confident. Some are. But vanity cappers? They'd rather look like players than actually be players. They care more about perception than performance. They'll tell you their handicap before you ask. They'll mention they used to play in college. They'll drop names of courses they've played, but when it's time to tee it up, they shoot 88. And they'll have an excuse. The win, the pin placements. The guy in their group who played too slow. Never their fault. They're not playing golf. They're playing a character. The character of good golfer. And the performance is exhausting. The Zen Master. These golfers don't care about scorecards. Only sunsets and solid contact. They know golf is a metaphor for life. You can't control the bounce. They're unbothered by bad swings, just happy to be out there. I played with a retired guy last summer who played barefoot. Said he liked feeling the earth. He shot 91, smiled the whole time, gave me better life advice than my therapist. Here's the assumption. We think golf wisdom comes with low scores. It doesn't. It comes when you finally stop caring about them. These guys have figured it out. They've played long enough to know that golf doesn't define them, that a bad round doesn't ruin their day, that the scorecard doesn't matter. They're out here for the walk, the conversation, the fresh air. They'll hit a shank and laugh. They'll make a birdie and shrug. They've transcended the game. And honestly, they're the happiest golfers I've ever met. They've cracked the code. They've figured out that golf is supposed to be fun. Imagine that. The golfer who's everyone and no one. Shapeshifters are a mirage of self-perception. They shoot 88, call it 84. They adapt their identity based on who they're playing with. They use golf as both therapy and theater. I know a guy who's deadly serious during tournaments, tracks every stat, doesn't talk, doesn't smile. Then he loses the front nine in a casual round and cracks beers on the 10th tee. Different person. Here's the thing. We all think our handicap defines us. But maybe it just reveals how we want to be seen. Shapeshifters understand this. They know golf is performance, and they're playing multiple roles. With their boss, they're the respectful, steady player. With their buddies, they're the wild card. With strangers, they're the sandbagger. They're whoever they need to be. And honestly, that's the most human thing about golf. We're all performing. We're all trying to be seen a certain way. Shapeshifters just do it more consciously. So whether you're a scratch purist, a sandbagging hustler, or a 25 handicap optimist, your handicap tells a story. Not just about your game, about you. About how you handle pressure, how you deal with failure, what you value, what you fear. Golf is a mirror, and your handicap is the reflection. So here's what I want you to do. Comment below with your handicap and what you think it says about you. I'll feature the best ones in a future video. As always, please be sure to click the subscribe button and catch our next golf breakdown. I'll see you in the next one.